Hey guys, this is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 6, Episode 3. Do you think I'm a bad man? So the episode starts with Michaela struts on in to the classroom. Like, we see like some chocolate legs walking in. We think it's Annalise, but it's Michaela. She's telling the class that she's the first chair or whatnot. And she has these dollars or whatever, $20, and whoever can get to $100 with arguing the case that they're about to do is the one who's going to be second chair on the case. So the case is a husband and a wife who try to rob a loan place or something so they could start their food truck business, which is crazy. Like, why would you go back and rob? Whatever. So there's like on the chalkboard like 150 different charges that are up against this woman because her husband ends up getting fatally shot by the officer when they're in the process of doing this robbery. So they're trying to charge her, even though she wasn't the one doing the robbery, they're trying to charge her. And more so, they're trying to make her pay restitution of over $100,000 and jail her. So Michaela wants to know, like, who out of the whole class can, argue this case the best. So they go around doing all that. And it turns out Michaela decides that nobody is fit because what she wants to do is she wants to completely, y'all see I did my nails. If y'all watched my last video, my nails was looking bogus and then now I did them. But that's random. She wants to get all the charges dropped, especially the restitution or whatnot. Well, more specifically the restitution, because it's ridiculous that they're trying to get her to pay for all these ridiculous charges or whatnot. And it's something that's unfortunate that happens a lot to people, poor people, especially in the system. They have you paying off all these random charges like for the rest of your life or something just from whatever mistake that you made, even though she was not the one who actually did the robbery or whatnot, but she was like an accomplice or with him. So from there, it jumps to, this may not be in the complete correct order because it jumps to Connor trying to going to see about Hector from last episode, the one who was the little boy who's trying to get asylum along with his mother and get them away from ICE or whatnot. And Marisol, is Hector's mother, was supposed to be meeting Hector, or to go just to come see him and then sign the papers as far as getting for immigration or something like that, and signing these papers or whatnot. And she doesn't show up because her boss tells her that she can't take no time off to go do it. So Connor takes it upon himself to take Hector and go to Maryland, where Marisol is living, I guess, and go take her to see his mother and get the paper signed for their case that they're going to do later. So I might have said more of that than what was that just happened in that scene, but that's what's going on with the Connor thing and them from last episode. So we see Frank go talk to Oliver, and he was like, I want to tell you something, but you can't tell anyone else. You have to just listen to what I'm going to say and don't tell nobody. And he's like, okay, what is it? He says that Laurel was the one. He tells him about how Laurel was the one who went to the safety deposit box, what was like a week or so ago. And he was like, well, do you know for sure it was her? And he was like, yes, I do. And then it shows that, the back of Laurel, well, what looks like the back of Laurel's head getting into a cab. So it looks like Laurel and she wasn't with like anyone, so it looked like she was traveling around freely and not like coerced to go places or like captive in any kind of way. So now Frank is kind of feeling some type of way about that, so he's trying to investigate and get to the bottom of that, and that's what he's doing this episode. Then we jump to Bonnie. Bonnie goes to see Tegan, and she was like, she already knew. It turns out that she already knew that she had been fired from the DA's office and whatnot. And then she was like, "Oh, what did did Nate push you up to this to come over here? Blah 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 blah." And then she was like, "No, I know you know that I work well and I can deal with a lot of different personalities. Blah blah blah. Just saying that she would do well working at the law firm or whatnot." And Tegan was like, "Sorry, it's unfortunate you got fired from, whatever, but I've already spent my budget for the year. So, girl, now you can't have no job." So from there, we go to the hearing of where they're trying to discuss the plea bargain for the woman who they're trying to get restitution out of her for $100,000 after they killed her husband when they were doing the robbery or whatnot. So first they're saying they want her to serve. They're trying to offer her a deal. They want her to serve 3 years in prison and pay the $100,000. Michaela has already told her client, like, "No, you're not going to be paying a dime. I'm going to get you completely off." Now, Annalise's little kids or little students or pupils, they always aim for the sun. Like, they be promising their clients a little too much. You are not Annalise. Like, I don't know why y'all be thinking that. Michaela, you good, girl, but you be feeling yourself too much. Like, calm down, girl. You ain't even for real like a lawyer. So she was talking them down, and then she was saying that they wanted some of the charges brought down because one of the things they're trying to get her to pay is the leave of, I believe, the officer who murdered her husband or some shit like that. I'm like, ain't that some fucking nerve? So, and they just had all these ridiculous charges that they were trying to put on this woman. And then they started bringing it down to almost like 50,000, almost a 70,000. And then Michaela was like, well, Annalise was like, "You need to consult with your client. Don't be trying to think that you got this, because at the end of the day, it's what your client wants." So lean over to Michaela leans over to her. Her client, the lady, she's just like, "No, go for it." And she thought she was bad, and they thought they was bad. So now, instead of the 3 years and the 100,000 restitution, they are trying to get her up on felony murder charges, which is ridiculous. Like, that woman was not trying to get her husband killed. Like, it was just completely ridiculous. So anyway, but Michaela, she got the boo-boo face after that because she's like, "What am I supposed to do?" And then Annalise was like, "What you mean? You better do what you gotta do because I got to go." And then she just left her on her own, which is right. Like, as you can see, Annalise did the same thing with Connor. Like, don't be expecting, like last episode with the whole Hector situation, don't expect me to hold your hand through this. Y'all about to be done with law school. You are going to have to be able to handle these types of things on your own. These are your clients. Handle it, and I'm about to be out. Peace. So we see that she's trying to like get them to spread their wings and fly and go on and do their stuff, but they be so cocky. It's like, y'all is like little murdering kids and stuff. They're not kids, they're grown. And y'all just so cocky. And as this is going on, Gabriel, and the whole class is watching, or most of the class of Annalise's class is watching along with Gabriel or whatnot. And everybody, they see that he ain't left or whatnot. They saw that when he came to class late. And then Vivian's there too. And then she's sitting in the back. So Gabriel's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Oh, I just wanted to see what's so great about Annalise and all this and blah, blah, blah." Like, she just stay hating on Annalise. Girl, Sam said he was going to come back to you. Like, she just has this grudge out on Annalise. So I'm like, what is going on? So She is sprinkled throughout this episode, whatever. Then she crosses paths with Annalise and talks to her, and then she was like, "You need to help Gabriel, whatever, help me with my son or whatever." And then she brings up Annalise losing her son. I was like, "Girl, that's kind of shady." And then, only one person could have told her about that, and she's like, "Oh, Sam told me that y'all lost, y'all baby. He called me like a few days or a week or something when it happened." I'm like, "Damn." So, okay, Sam, whatever. And Annalise, that just kind of takes her off, and she just goes home and starts beating on her pillow, from her little therapy. And she was just like, talking about, beating the pillow, talking about how she loved her baby, and why would you try to leave me again for her, and all this. And that's kind of fucked up. Like, he just was still kind of using her as a crutch, Vivian as a crutch. Whenever he fell down or something, you gonna go run and try to talk to her and call her. Meanwhile, you thought he was such a bad man that you didn't want your son being around him, but you taking his phone calls. Okay. And talking to him, whatever. So from there, it jumps to Oliver and Frank. They track down the cat. Well, he tracks down the information on the cabbie who drove Laurel to wherever, because Frank more so wanted to know, where did she go after she left from the safety deposit box. And the man was like, oh wait, he just finds that, and then it cuts over to Tegan. Found out they're all at the law firm. She finds out that the charges are now from a plea bargain to a felony murder now. And she was like, "Where the hell is Annalise? Like, this was just supposed to be you negotiating a plea bargain. Now this is more extreme. Annalise needs to be handling this case now, because this is our law firm's name on it. So it ain't no fun and games no more after it's switched. The charges have switched." Also, where the fuck is Connor? He was supposed to be back a long time ago with them papers. So, because she sent him to Maryland to go get the papers signed by Marisol, little Hector mama. So she's like, "Y'all need to find both of them right now." So jumps from there. Nate goes to Nate goes to see about like what's going on as far as his father's case, what's going on as far as Jorge Castillo and all that. He's still trying to investigate and do all that. So he's sitting there talking to the FBI. And he was like, they were saying that they don't really know any more stuff. But he goes and he plants the bug of Tegan in their ear. He's like, "I don't mind y'all arresting her. I just want y'all to get the right person." And Tegan was sitting there all buddy with Castillo like for 10 years. So y'all need to be looking more into her as far as all this corruption and all that. So yeah, like Nate is not letting up on Tegan. So yeah, from there, it goes to Tegan and Annalise at the law firm. And Annalise, she just be brushing off Tegan. Every time Tegan try to tell her, like, "You need to be doing this, you need to be doing this," Annalise is not trying to hear. Annalise is used to run her own shit, have her own business, not working under nobody. And she's just really not trying to hear Tegan for nothing. And then Tegan's like, "For real though, like, I'm running this office and I look to you as a friend." She's like, "I'm a lesbian. I'm the only black woman in here. And well, no, I'm the black woman in charge. I'm a lesbian, and all these, white folk and out here for you to not sit here and comply with what I'm asking of you is just really fucking hurtful, because I thought out of everybody, you would be on my side and you would be the one, complying with me through all the bullshit, because how much I helped you or worked with you." And then, Annalise was like, "You right." She's like, "I guess it's a kind of like she's too comfortable. That's how you get. You can't be too friendly with who you work with and the boss and all that, because people get too comfortable and kind of take advantage of that comfortability." And then, as you can see with them, because she be kind of blowing off Tegan. If this was another, I don't think, well, she would have did the same thing to Emmett, because Emmett wants to get up in them draws. So Annalise always gets somebody wrapped around her finger, male or female. So it is what it is. That's why she needs to be her own fucking boss and do what she gonna do, because she don't ever listen to nobody like that anyway. So from there, we see Michaela. Oh, we see Michaela and Annalise and Gabriel busts in because they trying to figure out how they can argue stuff as far as Gabriel proposes once they got to the whole point of a felony murder trial. He proposes like put Brandy, which is the defendant's name, put her on the stand so she could talk about the loss of her husband because he died in her arms after the policeman shot her. But she was like, no, we don't want to put her on the stand, blah, blah, blah. But he brings it up to Annalise, and he says that he got her to the Brandy to agree to get on the stand and talk about it. So Annalise was like, okay, we'll go with that idea, but you're going to be the one doing the examination, cross the examination of her. And if this shit don't work, you taking your ass back to Chicago with your mama. And he was like, all right, bet. So from there, Connor goes to see Marisol with little baby Hector, and so happy and everything. And she was like asking Connor, like, oh, how do you know that everything's gonna be okay? So, oh, after you sign these papers for the asylum, y'all won't even have to go to trial because I guess she never had any charges up against her, so it won't even have to go to court or some shit, the way he was explaining it to her. And as he's explaining this to her, ICE pulls up because the social worker who said she was going to cover for Connor taking Hector tricked off on him and told the authorities or whatever, or ICE or whatever, that she was going, where he was going and where to find him and all this other shit. So she probably just told because they asked where the boy was at when he was in foster care and she couldn't produce the child. And she probably like, well, should I let him go with so-and-so? And that's what it is. So from there, shit just got bad. Excuse me, y'all. I've been fighting this cold for I don't know how long. So it jumps to Frank and Bonnie. And Bonnie's all like, well, what you been doing all day? Like, they come home at Bonnie's house. She's like, oh, where you been at and all this. And then he was like, you gonna always ask me this stuff every time I come in the house. She's like, I'm just asking just because I want to know if you wanted to eat. And then he was like, I can always eat. For some reason, that hit my ear a little different. Do y'all know what I'm saying when he said? I was like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, maybe I'm just a pervert about it. But anyway, it jumps over to because before this, Oliver was talking to Frank about why did you choose Laurel, and it always just seemed like you and Bonnie should have been together or something, or like had something secretly because you the way y'all was and y'all known each other for so long. And then Frank was like, don't even, just drop it. So from there, I guess that planted a bug in Frank's mind. So when he's sitting there with Bonnie, he's talking about Sam, really screwed it up for us and everything. And then Bonnie was like, come on, man. Like, don't even start that with me. Don't even start that up with me again. You just miss Laurel. Don't even play with my emotions like that. Okay. So she just kind of like, you can just clean up after dinner, and she walks away. From there, Oliver pops up at the door and bang, bang, bang on Bonnie's door saying, you gotta help. Connor just called me and he's at some detention center with little baby Hector and Marisol, his mama, and we need your help. She's like, why didn't you call Tegan? Well, no, why didn't you call Annalise? He's like, cause she killed me. And so Tegan's like, why would you call Tegan? Because technically it is Tegan's and not law firm's case. So Bonnie's, little light bulb go off like, if I go help with this, maybe I can have a way in with Tegan and at the law firm. So she, goes and helps. So from there, Tegan is going off to help. She's on her way. She gets there to Maryland to help. Oh wait, no, that don't happen yet. Then we go to back to court for the case, working on Brandy and getting the restitution and all that case. So Gabriel examines questions Brandy about her husband and his death and how it was, blah 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 blah. And she sounds like a grieving wife and how it was horrible experience to feel her husband die in her arms and bleed out like that and whatnot. But from there, she's cross-examined by I guess the state or whatnot, and she gets upset because they were trying to be like, well, whose idea was it to really rob the loan place, and who really wanted, can either of y'all cook, can or whatnot, whose idea was it to do this, whose idea was, trying to place the blame on her, like you don't feel guilty, so trying to say like she should feel responsible for what happened because she was the one who pushed for the food truck. She was the one who wanted to do stuff, not her husband. It was more her idea, and she coerced him to do it. And then Brandy jump up like, "Oh, I cut you," and I'm like, "Girl, calm down. Why you being all the angry, violent black woman? You know we don't need that, and that's not gonna look well for you, girl." So Gabriel, like, he could fix this or whatnot, and yeah, it just wasn't a good look. So from there, sorry, I feel like I got a hair. From there, shit's all fucked up. Gabriel's like, damn, he done fucked up, and Tegan finds out that everything is just all jacked up. So she said that, and then Annalise finds out, knows what everything that's happening. So Annalise said, "Oh, I could fix this and all that." And then Tegan's like, "No, you fix this fucking trial with the Brandy and all that, the husband and wife case or whatnot, and I'll go help and fix the whole Connor situation." So when Tegan gets there to help with the Connor situation, Bonnie is already there, saying that using her ADA status to see about Marisol and the case and all that. But, if they look her up in the system, since she was so recently fired, I'm sure she will still pop up. But I mean, that only took her so far, but it got them into the office, I guess, with the main person they needed to see, because he was like, okay, because she said we need him in another drug, human trafficking or something. We need Marisol and whatnot for that. So he was like, okay, I can drop I could release them and let them go, but let me see your DA badge or whatnot. And then he's like, let me see your ID. So she tried to bust out that regular ID. He's like, nah, homegirl, let me see your federal or whatnot ID. And she's like, oh, I must have left it, but if you just let them go, I'll send it to you in the email. And then he was like, I don't know what kind of scam y'all trying to pull, but no, and y'all is just tripping or whatnot. So Tegan goes off on her phone real quick, and she was talking about some, I'm in so-and-so's office, and I need you to tell them that I need these people released. And I'm like, who the fuck is she talking to? Or whatnot. And then he was like, who is that on the phone? And she says who it is, so-and-so from Homeland Security, and I guess ICE and all that, and puts whoever that was on the phone with the main man or whatnot. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. So he completely backs down because he was outranked the situation, and he let them go on about their business. And it kind of was like, how you know? Who is that? How you know? Whatever. And she was like, that was my wife. And then she was like, well, because first he was like, how come you couldn't pull that out before with the asylum and all that? She's like, because it was my wife. So she didn't want to pull that. I'm like, yo, wife, Tegan? I thought you was single. Like, what you mean your wife? So from there, it jumps to from there, Bonnie and Tegan are talking, and then she was like, oh, she's gonna need Bonnie's help to go after this. And then they said they won't contest. The dude said he won't contest anything, and he'll let the charges off on Hector and his mama for the asylum and whatnot. But from there, Tegan is like, she hires Bonnie because she was like, although her antics were crazy and all that, Annalise people, they just be thinking they could just do anything. And she was like, she was the one that got them in the right room to the right person to get to that point. So Bonnie still was, there in the clutch and helping, and, so she hires Bonnie kind of on a temporary basis. She was like, you ain't gonna get no insurance for like 3 months or nothing, or benefits for like 3 months until I am sure about, my decision with you. So now Bonnie is on the team too. So everybody from, they all back together. So from there, it goes to, excuse me, my throat hurts. My throat does not hurt. I'm thirsty. So from there, Annalise is talking to Michaela. And she was like, oh, since she finds out that Connor and stuff, everything got solved or whatnot, she's like, oh, so it looks like just everybody's failing except for me. She's like, Michaela, you need to think, because the answer is right in front of you. You need to think and just think about it. And then she's like, well, why won't you just tell me? I promise if you tell me, I'll stop bitching. I'm like, really? Will you stop bitching, Michaela? Because you always bitching. So she was like, use Sam. So what she was going after was for, so Michaela starts brainstorming, thinking like, what do you mean use Sam and blah, blah, blah. Then she starts asking Annalise, like, why do you protect us? Like, you could have turned us in a long time ago, because technically Annalise didn't do shit. She was not there on the night when they murdered her husband. She just helped their ass cover that shit up after the fact. Michaela's just like, why do you keep helping us? Why do you keep protecting us? And then she was like, right. And then so it kind of made her think. And then, oh, excuse me, y'all. Just got done eating dinner. So she thinks about it. The DA was like, she was thinking about the whole thing of a wrongful death, because the DA took so long to file their charges against her, because they didn't want her to later file a wrongful death suit, because they didn't have to murder that man or whatnot. So they were trying to make sure for the robber, whatever. So they take that to court. So when they go back for the plea or whatever, when they go to trial, she asked them, like, she has the DA or whoever is whatever on the other side about why it took them so long to file these charges or certain charges on Brandy or whatnot. He's like, oh, well, there was a bunch of charges and we just want to file the right one. She was like, right, but you're trying to sit here and place and say that she is a murderer, so she can never get through when she has killed no one, and you just trying to say that she is responsible for this death and all that, and you want to take all this money from her so she can never just get out of poverty. And that's the reason why her and her husband was robbing in the first place, because they couldn't get nowhere, no out or no loan or nothing like that. So you just want to just keep her down forever, and if she has these charges on her. So he's like, no, that's not true. She's like, well, if it's not true, I'd like to subpoena because you just wanted to make sure, even after you wanted her to agree to being guilty so she could never file a wrongful death suit. That's what it was. And he's like, oh, that's not true. She's like, yeah, that's why you're trying to get her to do that stuff yesterday. And he's like, no. She's like, okay, if that's not true, then I'd like to subpoena the emails between you and whoever, the rest of the DA or whatever, office or whatever, who was doing this case, if that isn't the case. And then he's like, no, whatever. And then she's like, either you submit these emails or you drop all the charges. And that's what the judge says, like, are you going to do that? And then he was like, oh, no. He's like, well, you need to drop all the charges. So that's a W for Michaela in the long haul. She won that case. But they be so cocky. But from there, it was, she can either do, Brandy can either do 2 years and 2 years in jail, and then she has the opportunity to file the wrongful death lawsuit against the state, or she will serve no jail time at all, but she can't sue later. So Brandy was like, I don't ever get a win as it is, and people like me just don't get 2 wins, especially. So I'm just going to go for not taking my black ass to jail, and thank you for what it is, but that's it. Like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with no courts no more. I just want to put this all behind me. I've already lost my husband. I don't need to lose no more time in my life. So that case was solved. From there, Vivian pops back up in Annalise's face again, trying to accuse her. She's like, well, because when Michaela was interrogating the dude, she was like, it sounded like Michaela was very serious, like she had been a part of a man losing their life or something like that. Like reading too much into it just because Michaela sounded very, even though she had been, is true, but still, like, girl, you reaching because you don't know nothing about nothing, Vivian. But Annalise was like, you shooting up again? And then Gary was like, Mama, I told you to just leave Annalise alone. She's like, why are you picking sides or all that? Why are you always defending her? He was like, because like this ain't about her. This is me. And she was like, no, I'm gonna she's just consistently trying to take Annalise down. And I'm like, why is she so hell bent on taking this woman down? Like, damn, what she do to you? I mean, besides take your husband. But I'm just saying, but you could have been tried to get vengeance from that, but now you want to get vengeance now? Whatever. So then he's like, Mom, just come here. Let me go talk to you. And then she's like, Annalise is right. So it turns out Gabriel did kill her boyfriend. I guess when he stabbed him or something. Oh, excuse me, y'all. He was like, Mom, I was just trying to, it was an accident. I was just trying to protect you and keep you away from him and all that. Because, his mom was a drug addict and all that. And she just wants to show his mama that she just get away from her, break ties and get the fuck away from this man. And he all crying and stuff. She's like, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. Why? It wasn't for you to do and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, if you sitting here strung out on drugs, of course the boy gonna blame the man who you sitting here doing drugs and stuff with. And he didn't grow up with a mama on drugs his whole life. And he just hit his fucking breaking point and he killed the man because of you and your addictions and stuff. That's your child. Of course they're gonna try to protect their mama. But anyway, she's like, that wasn't for you to do. I'm like, well, what else was he gonna do? And that's why he resent her now, because he done drove this boy to commit murders and shit. So from there, she's just like, oh, I got you now. I got your back. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm like, okay, lady, okay. So it jumps to a little part where Annalise was asking Tegan what's going on as far as her wife, and she was like, oh, we're still married because the divorce hasn't been filed or whatever, not or if she hasn't been filed for divorce. She's like, oh, because Tegan hasn't moved forward with the divorce and stuff, so that's why she is still technically married. And I'm like, when we gonna see this wife? I don't think we've seen her wife. She probably cute. But anyway, it goes back. It jumps to Frank. Frank has met up with the cabbie who said he was a good dude now, and he was gonna accept bribes. But now he meeting up with Frank up in a dark alley or some shit now, and he takes the money and he tells because he was like, they threatened me and they told me that not to tell where I dropped her because it was like some type of safe house or something for Laurel. And he was like, this better be the right address, because shit, you think you got threatened there, and Frank will come back and kill your ass too. So from there, it jumps to Annalise is finally finding out that Bonnie asked and got fired. Because there's been so much going on, she didn't even been able to have time to talk to Bonnie. And she's like, why you ain't tell me you got fired? She's like, I don't want to give you any bad news. She was like, damn it, Bonnie, every time some bad news come up, don't mean that I'm going to just go off on a bender and just start drinking the shit. I'm like, well, you just never know shit, at least. And then she tells her why she got fired, and it was because she was trying to falsify the file on Vivian just so she can get that one thing, remember, of the last episode, because she wanted to get to see why Vivian had that one sealed file about her and her drug trafficking, and that's what she ended up finding out. So, but she was like, if they're sending Vivian, Sam's ex-wife, they are just pulling at any grasp of strings that they can pull on to get to Annalise. She's like, that just shows, Bonnie says, it just shows that they're desperate and they don't really have anything on you, because if they did have something on you, they would have been did something by now. And now they pulling out old skeleton and old wives and stuff. Like, they ain't got shit. And that's why they going about this that way. So that's what they concluded from the whole Vivian appearance. So from there, Vivian is at the FBI trying to cut a deal, saying she wants to cut a deal because of the whole thing with her son or whatnot. And I'm like, did she tell them about, like, I'm kind of confused about, because she just wanted her son to be completely free of whatever, the charges or whatever and whatnot. But I was just kind of confused, like, how did they know that he did what he did? I don't know. If you know if I missed something, because I'm kind of tired, y'all. If I missed something, then let me know about why she kind of did if they didn't really know in the first place. And then, or maybe I just misinterpreted what that was. And then it shows Gabriel walking up to his door, and it's a bag on it, and it says, "You're a good man, but Annalise is, you're good, but Annalise is not," or something. And then it's that box that we saw. What was that? The first episode or last episode, it was a box, you remember, that we saw with Sam's name on it and whatnot. So she gives it over to Gabriel. Turns out it's a box full of a whole bunch of session tapes. Now, was she his therapist, or was he her therapist? Like, it's gotta be she was his therapist, right? Which is super weird. It was very confusing. So I'm guessing she was his there because the name is his stuff on it. So it had to been she was his therapist. It's like, well, everybody's out here sleeping with their patients. Okay. So from there, it jumps back to Vivian. She wants to back down and not go after Annalise at all. She was like, I'm not going to provide y'all with nothing as far as Annalise or whatnot. And they was like, well, we'll resurface them charges about drug trafficking and whatnot against you. And then she was like, if you do, she's like, come for me. And if you do come for me, I'll have Annalise defend my ass. How about that? So they looking stupid now because, I mean, like, what can they really do at this point? Like, you can't force her to do it. And them charges that they got on her are just kind of like trumped up stupid. So they kind of just back to square one when they trying to come after Annalise on some shit. So it goes to Gabriel and Michaela. He calls Michaela over because she was like, because he was like, these are the tapes that are from my dad and my mom's sessions or whatnot. And she was like, I don't want to listen to stuff like you shouldn't even try to listen to it either because you're probably gonna hear some shit that you don't want to hear. He's like, I already have. So it turns out on this particular tape that he listened to, he was like, I don't think that your dad is dead from what he just heard on this tape. So it turns out the man that Michaela thought was her father is probably not her father because it's Annalise on the tape. So then I got confused. I'm like, why is Annalise on the tape? So are these all Sam's tape? I'm still confused about these damn tapes. So Annalise was talking to, oh yeah, that's it. I'm a little slow, y'all. So are these all Annalise's and Sam's tapes? I'm just really confused. I guess, are these all like Sam and Annalise's tapes and then she got them later? I'm guessing maybe that's it. And I think that just blew over my head, y'all. Sorry, I'm a little tired. So I guess maybe these are Annalise and Sam's tapes. So Annalise is talking about how when she was intern at Tennessee or whatnot, the lawyer she was interning for was sleeping with his client and sleeping with his client's wife or something. And the client thought that the baby was his and it really wasn't his. It was the lawyer's. So the baby being Michaela. So Gabriel's like, your father isn't dead because according to what this said on this tape, the baby, you weren't even the man's baby, you were the lawyer's baby. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, Annalise, did you lie about this too? Because this is getting ridiculous. Stop lying. So it's just all it's so confusing, y'all. It's like, it's hard. Like when you up in Shondaland, shit is just like, and then you talk it out and you think about like, oh wait, what? So I be lost sometimes, y'all. Sometimes gotta catch up. So from there, it goes to Frank in the safe house. And he's looking and he sees the crib or whatnot. He's like, Laurel. And then who comes in? Ain't that Laurel's brother? I believe that is Laurel's brother who walks in and on Frank or whatnot. I'm pretty sure that's Laurel's brother. So, but we don't see any Laurel or baby Christopher. So, excuse me. That's that on that. So it jumps to Nate is back at the FBI, and they're saying that they're talking about Ron's death or whatnot, and they said that they haven't found anything further on Ron's death, or they're going another way or something as far as Ron's death and what happened with that, even though we all know that Nate killed him. But they were like, well, we need your help on something else. And he was like, well, what is that? And they talking about some more Annalise. So they just, whoever they can turn over, return, flip back, recycle, rinse, and reuse, they back on trying to, anybody in Annalise's life, they keep trying to come after Annalise. They just keep coming back on her. So that's what they're saying. So then we fast forward to what is the present. And now, last episode or whatever, we saw Michaela being interrogated by the same FBI, the old white dude and the Asian lady, about Annalise, I guess. And then this time we see Connor, and Connor look all sweaty and crazy. And they were just saying, we got Michaela in the other room, and she's trying to strike a deal or something in the other room. And then he was like, no, I want to talk to her, or I need to know. And then he's like, what, do you want to see the pictures or whatnot? So they only show us a picture of blood, and we don't see who's lying dead on the floor. Because I don't know, I'm not going to believe Annalise is dead until the very end. So it is what it is. So he looking at whoever bloody dead picture it is. Connor just starts sweating and laughing and tweaking out, and he has a whole panic or heart attack. So he passed out on the floor and is shaking and shit. So we don't know what's going on with Connor. And it was like, call the ambulance, or somebody call ambulance or whatnot, because Connor, whatever he saw in that picture, completely just, he cracked up, and it looked like the boy then fell on the floor and had a heart attack. And episode go off. So it's showing that, like, every time we go to like previews for the next week, they're not going to show us anything. We are just getting a very mere little flash of what is coming for next week. So everything is just twisty, turny, confusing. And I'm just trying to stay and figure it all out, y'all. So we just going on this ride together. Anyway, that is season 6, episode 3 of How to Get Away with Murder. I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. I am tired. I am going to bed. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Bye.